Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me here, Kevin the Ninja, at the Moto Dojo. It's Thursday, our last work day of the week. We're off tomorrow for a freedom weekend. I'm so excited. But this is our last day to run for the week before Super Run Sunday. We're going to hit 20 miles. It's going to be crazy as we're building up for our next marathon happening on July 19th. It's going to be insane. We need the endurance. We need the grind. We're only doing a 10K today just to finish off the week strong. A couple of days of healing, a couple of days to spend time with the family and celebrate America's freedom. It's a very special 4th of July Independence Day weekend because it's America's 250th birthday. So I shout out to all the patriots out there. You know who you are. You're here to grind just as we are here to have a great workout and a great time along the way. So make sure you guys are celebrating this weekend, appreciating those who have given their lives and their freedoms so that we could have our freedoms and enjoy the time with your family. It's just a fantastic time to be alive today. I want you guys to appreciate all that I'm giving you and look for ways in your life that you can further appreciate what you already have. I think that that's really important for overall health. Here on this fitness gaming channel, we don't talk about just workouts, but we also talk about overall health and wellness. So we'll see if we can get this 10K in today. Hey, if you're working out with me, please do. Let's jump in. Let's get this 10K. Let's get it done. Definitely having a fantastic Thursday so far. I hope you guys are too. We had a really good run yesterday. Good workout, good grind. I'm waiting for them to bring back snipers only because we got two more bloodthirsties on this strider before we can finish it off. So let's see if we can get up into some long distance maps, some long range maps to help us with that challenge. If not, we're gonna have a good time anyway. It's been quite the week, and usually these short weeks for me means I have to work a little bit harder to get through having one day off. But no bother, tomorrow we're definitely going to rest it up, and then Friday or Saturday and we're going to have some nice time with the family, enjoying and celebrating Independence Day. I like to go on a motorcycle run. Maybe I'll do a little quick stream of me on my bike. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's supposed to have a lot of hot weather this weekend. I don't know where you are, if you guys are having a good summer so far. Alright, let's let this map render in. So this is a great map returning from Black Ops 4. Let's see if we can get some pipes as soon as the map spawns in. Oh my gosh, see, I don't even know where I'm shooting because it looks like they're there. They are, but oh my gosh, this is so funny. Alright, let's see if we can get some pipes here. So yeah, we'll have to pick up the pace. We definitely need to do this 10K in an hour and 5 minutes. That's what I'm allocating, just to send us on track for our marathon training. And we're hoping Sunday, when we do our 20 miles, we're hoping to do that in 4 hours. If we could do that in 4 hours, boy oh boy, that will be amazing for us, because then we just have a 10K left to do for our marathon in a couple of weeks, and I dare say we can get that marathon done in 5.5 hours, kind of as a personal best. Last time we did it in 5 hours and 38 minutes. We had to take a couple of breaks, but yeah, if I can get into a good cadence, get a good pace going, then yeah, we'll have success. It's overall going to be a great run. I definitely look forward to these marathons. It's like my new challenge in life. You know, I have gained black belts over the years, and I stopped doing martial arts about 14 years ago and got into running. But it was only until I started getting into long distance running that I realized, man, this is my next challenge. You know, in my life, this is my new challenge to do these extreme runs and hopefully keep pushing myself as I get older. I think I mentioned here on the channel that sometimes when we get older, we get a little soft, and that's not dogging on anybody that chooses more of a lackadaisical, comfort life. Sometimes our work is so stressful and tasking on our bodies and minds that, man, getting a workout in is like the hardest thing to do. You know, at the end of the day, we just want to call it quits, just sit on the couch, you know, drink a beer and take it easy. And that's not saying that I don't drink beer. Yeah, there's nothing better for me to unwind while I'm cooking dinner is to drink a beer, sip on that thing. So yeah, I'm not overall 100% with my health and fitness. I allow myself to indulge, and it's important to do that. So we're going to talk today about mental health. We've talked a lot about physical health. We've talked a lot about fitness. We've talked about nutrition. We talked about how you can pull energy from your energy reserves. Well, let's talk a little bit about mental health. Yeah, yesterday I kind of had a great cry session, I call something that really was overdue, I feel. And it's important to kind of get to that point where you are okay with your emotions. For a man my age, you know, usually we're told to kind of suppress our emotions, or what makes a man. A man doesn't show his emotions, he's strong 100% of the time. Yeah, that's part of what goes into a man, but you have to understand, when you suppress something, it's only going to bottle up and become under pressure. Yeah, there's that David Bowie song, right? And Queen, Freddie Mercury. So there's a point in time where a man must be strong, where a man must push back on certain emotions for the greater good, for accomplishing certain feats of athleticism, or simply for getting jobs done, wars won, things like that. And there's a time also for a man to recognize emotions and allow them to come out in a productive way. I wouldn't say breaking down is a good way of expressing emotions, because if you get to a point where you're breaking down, yeah, it's kind of too late. It's almost like if you are extremely obese, you know, it's kind of, your body's suffered through so much, you're not going to be able to kind of simply just walk off that. And here I am walking now because my ankle's kind of giving me some pain, so we're going to walk for the next little bit. You need to fight through some of those, what am I saying here? Fight through a lot of those times where your body has suffered greatly, and a radical change isn't necessary at that point. You need a slow change day after day to get you back in shape. So it's like, if you're obese, you can't be jumping into a 5K or, you know, all these miles, because it's not going to be healthy, for one, and you're probably going to quit. So instead, you get into a different mindset of making a small change so that you avoid getting into that part to begin with. And if you're already there, you need to start even smaller to get back into optimal health. For mental health, it's the same way. For mental health, we have to understand that a lot of men, and I'm speaking to the men because I don't know what goes on in the heads of women. I'm not even going to begin to treat or analyze, because women have their own fair share of mental health issues that they can deal with in their space. You know, they're not going to listen to a man telling them what to do or what not to do. So I'm speaking to the men out there today. Women, I know you guys have your circles and cultures around mental health. You know, seek them out. For men, I'm talking to the men that are really strong and the ones that have pushed back on their emotions for a long period of time. Hey, I was there myself. Some days I still feel like I do suppress my emotions to put on the persona of strength, being, you know, manly, not having so much, you know, emotions to share is kind of like what makes a man feel tough. But real toughness comes from mental dexterity, emotional connectivity, and kind of emotional intelligence, so much that a man can know when and when not to express emotions. That doesn't mean to bottle them up, but that just means there's a right time for everything. And I know that we've all been there where there's been parts of our lives where we just have to be emotional, but we can't, or we feel like we can't, because it seems weak for a man. It's not weak for a man to show emotion. It's not weak for a man to have emotions. It's looked upon in society that a man shouldn't have to do that, but we're outside of societal norms here on this channel. We're not about having society telling any one person or many what they should or should not think or feel, because those are very subjective elements to the human experience. You know, to say that, oh, having this life or having this job or this lifestyle is you should feel a certain way or you should react a certain way, that's very generic to put on everybody. Like, say, in my position, I'm married, have a perfect relationship, I have a beautiful home, which I call my castle, and it seems like my career is really on the upswing, and I have all the opportunities in life to grow and expand my career, be more financially stable and secure. My children are great. I have a grandbaby that I adore. I have nieces and nephews that I just love, and I have a great supporting wife. I have it all. But that's not saying that I still don't have mental stress, or that I still don't have, days that I get down, like I was saying yesterday. Yeah, there are some days where I question, why am I doing this? Not just streaming, but like, why am I doing this at work? Or why do I even care about this and that? And it's important to get to those periods of times, because it's like, if you don't ever get there, and I'm not saying hitting rock bottom is great. It's not. It's meant to change, though. It's meant to shake you into then getting a better understanding on your situation. Think about it this way. If you were always suppressing your emotions, and you were always faking happiness, faking that smile, like I said, day after day after day after day, there's going to be a day that rocks you to your core. You're going to have that one bad day, and that one bad day may just drop you off your ladder so far that you fall and hit rock bottom. Not that you just kind of like hover over it, but that you hit rock bottom and you experience what I call a meltdown. Yeah, I've melted down in the past before. I'm not going to be like, oh, I've never melted down. Yeah, there's been some days where I've absolutely just burned myself out, and I feel like this is as low as I'm going to get. I hit that a couple of times, and it's awful. It's awful to stay there. It's awful to be there. But we talked about the silver lining. You look at the silver lining of that, and it gives you an increase of perspective. You gain perspective on certain elements in your life that are making you hit rock bottom. That's important. It's almost like an alcoholic who wakes up on the bathroom floor, in a mess, and hungover and just absolutely, terrible situation. Yeah, that's been me. I've done that. And guess what? It helped me realize that I cannot get drunk. Like I said, I drink a beer a night. That's sipping on a beer. That's not pounding a six-pack. There's a difference. I have an addiction to alcohol, and I'm not proud to announce it, but it is one of my pain points that have plagued me for decades. And I recognize it so much that I don't allow it to change me. I don't allow it to consume me. It's like, I know I have this shadow side. We on this channel, we're ninjas. We do the shadow work. I have this shadow side that plagues me. And that's a good thing that I know about it. If I went my whole life and never realized that, man, I addict to alcohol, and I just keep messing up over and over again, and I don't know why, then I could go my whole life missing the mark, so to speak. I would rather wake up on that floor in the bathroom with my last hangover and say to myself, that's it. I can't do hard alcohol anymore. I can't have more than a beer. I can't do these things. Because then I say, you know what, I'm going to make a pact to not do that. I'm going to make a pact to myself and say, I'm just not going to do it. It's not going to be me. And you tell the devil every day, just not today. I'm just not going to overdrink today. I'm just going to have a beer while I make dinner, and I'm going to sip it, and that's it. But you know what? That's just for today. Because there was a quote, I don't know, Alan Watts said it, a very famous philosopher. He was saying how, the devil knows when you're trying to get back on track, and that's when the devil really puts on the grip, really tightens the grip around you, and saying, oh no, you won't get rid of this addiction so long as I make it known, or you make it known. And so the devil says, when you have that inclination to stop doing something that's detrimental to your health or your family or whatever, then that's when the devil tightens its grip and says to you, no, you're not going to do it. And you end up failing as a result of maybe something that was really drastic. Like I was saying, permanent change happens little by little, day by day. It doesn't happen by saying, oh no, I'm never drinking again. And I've said that before. But I've resonated with the idea that, yeah, I really addicted to alcohol, and saying that I'm never going to drink again is kind of like a half promise that I'm easily going to break. I'm just going to say that. It's really tough to say that you're never going to drink again for somebody that has spent more than 2 decades drinking and started off drinking really heavily. So instead you say, you know what, I'm just not going to get drunk today, devil. Just not today. And what happens is, you can go an entire year of just sipping on beer, 1 beer a night, while you make dinner. You don't get drunk, you don't get hungover. And it's enough, I almost call it like a necessary dip in health to help you feel alive. Here's the thing with health overall, and this is all coming back to mental health. Your mind needs to feel like it's performing optimally. It also needs a break. When we talked about the 3 keys to health, the holy trinity of optimal health, which is autophagy, insulin sensitivity, and ketones, it's also surrounded by a yin and yang circle. So you can tell it by, it's like circling the triangle. Not circling the square, that's a little bit different. But circling the triangle. And what that is breaking down and building back up. Breaking down and building back up. That is the yin and yang principle that ninjas follow. We have periods in our life that break us down, but guess what? We have an upswing. It's kind of like you go through a low point, you're going to come back up. That's just what happens with energy in the universe. There's no wasted energy nor space in the universe. And with our bodies and our minds, it's the same thing. We have these principles where if you are always on the upswing, if you're always wanting to feel positive, joy, 100%, nirvana emotions, where everything just seems to be working, and you ride that high, so to speak, that high is only going to last so long before something changes. You get a flat tire, your boss gives you a rude comment at work, or doesn't make you feel appreciated at work, or you have a problem at work that you have to work a little bit overtime, even though you said, you know what, I'm working so well, I don't need to work overtime. The day that it happens, when you're forced out of that little comfort zone, is going to drop you not just back down in the low part, but it might just send you to rock bottom, make you fall off the wagon completely, instead of just, I got a little bit low today, but tomorrow is going to be a brighter day. That's what you have to instill in your mind, because that is the key, one of the keys of keeping that circle moving continuously. Energy doesn't dissipate. In the universe, you just keep it going. It turns negative into positive, positive into negative. So am I making an excuse for me to drink a beer a night? Yes. Why? Because 1, my physical health allows me to, and my mental health needs that release. I get a big release from working out. I get a big release from walking my dog, doing my yard work, and doing all these things. Is that to say that it's cure-all, end-all, be-all for my mental fitness? No. Like I said, especially as you get older, your body and your mind are compounded with stress. Physical stress and mental stress. From the world, from your work, from your relationships, from financial situations, everything is just hitting you with stress. And so I realized this when I first started doing yoga. Yoga I can recommend to everybody who wants to work on their shadow self. It helps you realize that you have this ego, this monkey mind as we've called it before, that is always there, always present, and it's giving you, it should give you, you should recognize it as a boost, because we shouldn't be looking at destroying the ego, burning the ego, but what we do is we suppress it because it's necessary. The ego does many wonders for our mind and body that without it, we wouldn't be able to accomplish it. It helps us drive, it gives us a drive, it gives us a sense of being, a sense of worth. That is important. One thing I realized, this is probably 14 years ago, when I first started getting into yoga and running, is that I had a lot of baggage in my mind that I was unable to release through martial arts and fitness that way. I had to sit in silence and darkness over long durations and understand why certain things made me feel like I had to fake it. You know that saying, fake it until you make it? There were a lot of things in life that I was faking simply because I told myself, you know what, it doesn't matter, or this is just the way it is. And instead of addressing and confronting the problems face on, I just said I'm going to wear a smile and everything's fine. No, there wasn't fine. It wasn't. So I left martial arts because I was at a point where I was seeing too many things that weren't right, but I was telling myself that, hey, it doesn't matter. It should matter. The little things become big things if you ignore them. Get the heat going, or the fan going, get it nice and warm in here. So the ego, one, can never be destroyed, but it needs to be controlled. And my ego, for me, says, you know, it's okay to get really drunk, you know, like tonight, I'm not running tomorrow, I'm not running Saturday, and even Independence Day, like, oh man, you know, you could drink a lot of beers as much as you want, because yeah, you've earned it, right? You've worked hard, it's a celebration, but my humble side, my higher mind says, you know what, you promised yourself you wanted to run 20 miles on Sunday, and if you get drunk, if you mess up, then you're gonna waste that time, you're gonna waste that opportunity to keep going. So I tell myself, no, I'm not jeopardizing that run. But I'm not saying I'm never drinking again. I'm saying you need to have a little bit to help you create that little deficit in order to go positive. It's a crazy concept, but this is why the universe is polarities. It always has, it always will be. It's polarity. It's negative and positive. Having a beer, for me, is a little bit of that negative that I can now augment with positive. It's a mind change that you have to make. I'm not saying get blacked out drunk, because then you're going to suffer a hangover. I'm saying you have that beer to finally say, yeah, I've tamed the ego. I gave it a little bit of what it wanted, and now it's gone. Now I don't even hear it. And now I can focus on, you know, the rest of the day. So it's a weird concept, but you have to know that nobody is perfect. The idea of striving for perfection is only so much to give you that motivation. But we talked about how motivation and discipline are completely different. Motivation will just get you so far because you're going to be, in one point or another, faced with a day that could very well break you and make you lose all that motivation. So it's not bad to indulge once in a while in small quantities. Like I said, like you could have desserts. You just don't eat them all the time and in large quantities. You can have carbohydrates, like, yeah, I'll indulge in carbohydrates or fried potatoes like I'm gonna make tonight. Air fried. But you don't do that every day. it would really wreck me if I did do that every day. You do them in small quantities, just enough, because you need to create a little bit of a deficit in negative to then augment it with positive. That's how the universe works. Guess what? That's how our minds work. So back to mental health. I mean, we've been talking about mental health this whole time. Mental health is secured by understanding the limitations of the body. The mind does that. The mind says, hey, you know what? I gotta take a break today. Here's a good example. Back in 2020, when I started to rapidly change my career, I was a manual QA software tester, and I had the opportunity to start doing automation work. So 6.5 years ago, I had this opportunity of, working 125% my capacity. And that was given to me by the CTO at the time. And I looked at that like, how unfair, and it was just given to me and 2 other guys, not the whole QA team. And I kept thinking, why me? Well, I worked in a certain specific technology called iOS software development. I worked on the mobile application team. Nobody else in the company was working on that, but just this small group of developers and me as the only tester. And so I looked at that, I'm like, okay, well, I get it. There's now automation around the mobile applications. We should build it. And I gotta tell you, it was February where I had my meltdown. My wife remembers. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, this doesn't make sense. Why am I having to work more? I'm not getting paid anymore. I'm salary. Why am I getting, all this new work thrown at me? And a couple guys told me, Kevin, this is good for you to learn. It'll be a new skill for you to add to your resume. And so I said, okay, fine. I will do this. And I kind of did it first out of spite. I first thought, I'm just going to get this done so I don't get yelled at, whatever. But after a month, when things started to make sense, it took like a full month before I kind of really understood what I was doing. Things started getting a little bit easier and simpler. Ooh, that's how you fall. And it was weird because I never thought that I could change part of my mind that would make me look at work differently. And so in February, my mental health was horrible because I was approaching this task of automation and manual testing as like more work, more stuff my company's throwing at me without paying me more. And I changed within a month. I was looking at it like, you know what? Maybe I could do a little bit more. And so in March, went to a concert with my wife in Vegas. I took my work laptop with us because I know there'd be some downtime. And sure enough, during the weekend, I spent, like 10 hours, and I got this work started, and it was good because then I started compounding on the effort. So my mind changed around what I was doing so much that I started enjoying working on the automation because it was now beginning to make sense, and I was able to rapidly get tests going. Not rapidly, as much as I could. So I was working 12-hour days and nights, so 8 hours in my regular manual job, and then 4 hours at night working on automation. And I did that for 9 months, for the rest of the year basically. And in that time, we got a new director for QA, and he looked at what I was doing and said, Kevin, this is amazing. Like, you have created a mountain of automation in 9 months. This is something to be proud of. And it's kind of like you don't have to, you can't see the forest from the trees. I didn't really know how much I had done because I was just doing it every night and the weekends. I would go 12-hour days on the week, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekend, I would do another 8 hours on Saturday, and then another 8 hours on Sunday. Is that healthy for the mind? Not so much. But I was becoming passionate about what I was building. So I started changing my mind in simple ways, day by day, by taking a task that I first thought was really awful, added work, what's the benefit? I'm not making more money, to changing it to say, you know what, this is something I'm creating. I'm creating something that's long-lasting, hopefully long-lived. And sure enough, in, I think it was October of that year, So I guess it was like 8 months. The director gave me a $2,000 bonus. $2,000 at a time where people were being laid off during 2020. People were being laid off. People were being furloughed at my company indefinitely. I made an extra $2,000 just for doing the automation work. He gave me that bonus, and I know it was kind of hard for him to push through, but he pushed it through, said, no, you wanted Kevin to do automation. Here he has built automation. So they gave me $2,000 in the time where people were being laid off and people in my company were being furloughed indefinitely. And it was at that moment that I saw, hey, it pays to change your mind. Yeah, it was hurtful for my family. I took a dip in my salary that year because of COVID, but I wasn't furloughed or laid off or anything. So I was still lucky to have a job. And then we finally got our salaries back, which was great. And so we did all these things under the pretense that I was building a skill. So I changed my mind. I couldn't change the situation. I couldn't change my company. I couldn't change the world, right? COVID was going on. I couldn't do all of those things. The only thing I could do was change my mind. And it started small. It started first with some pain, as it should, but then eventually that pain became kind of like my tool. And I leaned on that tool saying, yeah, it's painful doing this, but man, today I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write these tests, or I'm gonna automate this, or whatever. And I started setting small goals every day. And yeah, I created a mountain of automation in that year, in the UI level. And then the next year, I didn't stop. In 2021, I created a mountain of automation at the API level. So those techies will get that. Network requests. So fast forward 6.5 years, here we are today in July 2026. I am now a mid-level software engineer in the iOS platform, and I'm almost at senior level because of two things. The knowledge I gained back then is now accelerating me here in the AI space. I'm using AI super intelligently. My QA right now that I have, unfortunately, are suffering because they weren't doing automation work all those years ago. So even though they have AI tools today, they aren't able to leverage AI as well as I can in writing automation because there's a learning curve. It's easy to generate code, but it's harder to understand it. I was probably one of the last generations of software developers that went and taught themselves the hard way how to read and understand and write code. And I was lucky I did that back then because who knows, I would have probably stayed in manual QA testing and struggled now with AI trying to learn automation if I didn't take on that challenge. If I said, you know what, I'm not doing it, maybe I wouldn't be with the company. But no, I've survived a couple of layoffs with my company because I am such a smart worker, and now I'm a subject matter expert. And yeah, I'm approaching senior level in my job, in my career. It's amazing. And it started small. It started with that mental change. And now here I am, just before I got on stream, refactoring those tests that I wrote 5-6 years ago to be more robust, scalable, maintainable, with dependency injection. It's like beautiful. AI is like doing all this easily. And wow, I can tell you, I do this in a matter of hours, and I look back, I'm like, yeah, that would have taken me a week or two to do it manually. So yeah, it started with a mental change. So one thing I could say for improving mental health, yeah, we talked about that circle of breaking down, repairing, negative, positive. Create a deficit. Like, I know it sounds bad. Like, what are you talking about? Create a deficit that forces you to become better. Because from that deficit, you will need to be, in some way, shape, or form, needing to recuperate or basically recover from that stress, that pain, that anguish, that mental change. Because like I said, a mental change is something that you should experience that isn't so, it's not so, like rainbows and butterflies, kind of, so to speak. To change your mind, just like your body, it has to come with a little bit of pain, at least. And I say a little bit of pain. Go back to the story of an obese person trying to run a 5K. It's not going to happen. You're going to be in so much pain that, yeah, you might muscle your way through a 5K, but I promise you that at the end of the day, or end of that run, you're going to be in so much pain that you're not going to run again. You're not going to want to run. You're going to be like, that was the most painful thing I did, and it hurt me. Like maybe you suffered an injury, and you're not going to do it. And so that's not going to be a lifestyle change you're going to keep. So instead, start small. Walk a mile. If you want to walk more, walk a 5K. Start there, you know, depending on your physical level. And that right there will be something that you can change and stay with and stick with. You could do that. It's not impossible. Same thing when it goes to our mental space. You want to learn a new skill. Like if I looked at, man, I want to learn software development. There's so much to learn. There's so many directions you could take. Start small. Start one little tiny avenue. I'm not saying, oh, you need to build an application or build a server or whatever. No, you start by, if you want to build an app, I'm going to build a screen. But in order to understand this, I'm going to install Xcode or Visual Studio, depending on if you're Windows or Mac users. And you're going to start small. You're going to build one simple screen, and it's going to take you a long time. It should take you forever. You know, it's going to feel like, oh, I've been working on this forever. But those principles you learn are going to create a foundation for you to build on. If you want to learn new language, you don't first like jump in and start reading and writing the language. No, you learn the characters first. You learn their alphabet before you start putting words together. Learn the alphabet, memorize the alphabet. I taught myself Korean back when I was in high school. Their Hanguk, their symbols, and I memorized them. So now I memorized them together. But you know what? I didn't finish the sentence structure and putting words together. That I wish I did, because then I moved on certain other paths to my life. I'd like to go back to it, but I'm actually more inclined to learning Japanese. See, I can speak more Japanese than I can read and write it. I can read and write Korean more than I can speak it. So, yeah, go figure, right? So I have some avenues I could revisit. So instead of like, oh, I'm gonna just start reading and writing Japanese, I gotta work small. I gotta start learning the alphabet, memorizing it, memorizing the characters, writing it out. This is the hard, painful way. Duolingo is nice for that. I think I really just need to get back to one of my books that I had, where the empty pages were spaced out for you to write characters. There's something about writing things down that change the mind. I keep a journal in my phone, but I think I need a journal in my actual notepad so I can write something down. And these streams are kind of like my journal, to be honest with you. They kind of do go through, you know, days of my life, really. Talking about the day, what's on my mind. Today was definitely mental health. So if you could take something out of today's stream, it's focus on changing your mind. It's possible, no matter what age you are in. You can change your mind. You just have to get you just have to get comfortable with not being comforted, by not doing something easy, by doing the hard work. Nice sword slice. Good job, bro. Gotta work on the sword. Maybe I'll try that out here in a minute. This snipe is not working for what I'm after. Oh, I got him. Aw, good shot, bro. Good shot. So start small. Find a challenge that you can suffer through mentally and progress. Make progression, make small goals, and hit your targets, hit your goals every day. You know, if it's fitness that you want to do, start today. Doesn't matter how late. You're like, oh, you know, it's late. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I should go out for a walk or just go to bed or just turn on the TV. Go for that walk. Or I'm trying to learn a new language. Just practice a couple of characters. Write some things down. Make it happen. All right, we gotta start back. We gotta hang back here. See if that can get us any of these kills, because we forget that we're trying to snipe them, and here we are running and gunning. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna be helpful. All right, what are we at? Almost at 3 miles, almost halfway. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Yeah, my ankle was bothering me. I was like, oh no, what's happening? No, do I have an injury? It's just sometimes when you've been running a lot, your bones and muscles might do some weird things. So yeah, my ankle was definitely bugging me. I'm glad it's not anymore. We had to reduce our pace though, so we're at a 13, yeah, just over 13-minute mile pace. Get some more electrolytes here. Yeah, temperature's feeling pretty good. Yeah, fitness definitely is a way into helping your mental space. Because sometimes you really just need to work it out physically. A problem, situation, something that's wearing your mind down. You just need to work on it and work it out. And for me, going back to my talk about how I advanced my career over the 6.5 years, I did have to eventually take a break. I didn't push myself all the way through 2021. In fact, I kind of started feeling burnt out from working nights and weekends. It was up until like 2022 that I said, okay, I can't work weekends anymore. I got more commitments happening. I need to kind of ease off the brakes, so to speak. I was still working out. I was still running on the treadmill and gaming. And I think that's when I changed. In 2020, I stopped gaming on the couch. And because I realized, hey Kevin, I need to work out. Working out for me is a big part of my mental health. And I got up out of the couch because I couldn't justify playing video games all that much when I was doing automation or trying to learn it. And so I stopped the nightly routine of me just turning on the game and spending 2-3 hours on the game. And instead I said, you know what, I'm going to limit myself, but not stop playing games altogether. So I started running on the treadmill in the mornings. Before work, I started waking up earlier. And I said, I'm going to get at least 30 minutes in and still play video games, but I'm going to try this treadmill thing out. My wife had just bought a treadmill, and I was like, I'm going to try it out. Yeah, sure enough, it didn't take me too long to get used to running and gunning. And so I realized, wow, I kind of like saved time right there. I created a space where I could work out and still play my video game. It was only like 30 minutes in the morning. But yeah, we were all at home for COVID and stuff, still in 2020 and 2021 and even 2022. I was like, I could do this. And so I created that space that was otherwise kind of wasted on me just sitting on the couch night after night, and then on the weekends playing the game. So I reduced the amount of time I played the game, which I still do, and it made me have a better appreciation towards the game. Why? I was playing it less, shouldn't I have, oh man, I miss playing the game. No, having balance in how much, I guess, downtime and game time is actually better. Sometimes less is more. And I definitely saw that when I started picking up the controller and getting on the treadmill instead of sitting down on the couch. I realized, man, yeah, less is more. I'm getting a workout in, and I'm having a better appreciation for the game, and especially when I'm running with the right rifle or, ballistic knife and karambit combo. I'm having a lot of fun, and it's great. Get those endorphins going, get a good boost of serotonin. So, yeah, I eventually had to take a break from working nights and weekends because, yeah, ultimately you get burned out from doing that. So you change, you reassess, and you say, you know what, I'm not going to work nights and weekends anymore. I'm going to try and work smarter, set different types of goals, smaller goals, because I don't need to run past my feet and run out my shoes, so to speak. It wasn't being required of me since I built all that automation. They're like, yeah, you are now offered a junior iOS developer position in 2022. So I took that gladly, And yeah, the rest is history. It came with balance. After that, it came, instead of working hard, now I work smarter. Still applying pressure, and still in my mind that I'm still, making gains at work, so much that I'm approaching senior level. But I'm not working nights or weekends unless I absolutely have to. Now, one thing to remember is you can't be focused on a date or a deadline of when I become senior, because that's like counting your chickens before they hatch. You know that saying? You instead say, I'm just gonna allow it to happen. Trust the universe, trust the process, be patient. Change will come, and the opportunity will come up, but I can't rush it. If you rush it, it won't work. It'll break. It won't be long lasting. Let it come naturally, and trust the process, trust the universe. So the best thing you could do for your body and your mind is to allow it to heal. Take breaks, take days off, give it rest, time to heal, and come back stronger. That's part of the repairing. After you break down your muscles, go through extreme stress and mental changes in your life, then you have to allow it reliefs. You have to allow it to repair. Take days off, take breaks, and yeah, you'll come back feeling sharp. There's been some weekends where I'm like, oh my gosh, I really just need to pull up my laptop and get something done. And sometimes I do. I'll spend an hour or two getting something done, and those actually become really good because it's like those little, like bits of benefit from your body repairing and coming up with an idea instead of working a 12-hour day. Like some days on Fridays where I'm like, oh, it's 5:30 and it's Friday. Why am I still working? I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to figure this out, and I'll keep pushing myself. But no, it doesn't work. It's like, no, it's time to go make dinner. It's time to spend time with the wife and fam. It's time to relax. And yeah, sure enough, I'll come back either on Sunday, like Sunday afternoon, usually I'll come back to my laptop and I'll revisit that problem I left on Friday, and boom, I'll make it work. And that's just because the mind has been given time to repair, release, and heal. And you come back and your mind's like, yeah, this is the best thing. I'm able to think clearer. So you can't really grind the brain, just like you can't grind muscles in your body. The brain's an excellent muscle. You can't do that for long periods of time because ultimately it won't be able to repair. In my opinion, it's just like running. Like, if I don't have days off resting, I will not be able to run more than a 10K or half marathon. And I want to run marathons. I want to challenge myself and set dates and hold myself accountable for running marathons. That's not going to happen if I run every day and push myself, every weekend's a half marathon or every day's a 10K. No, man, the best days to run are 5Ks every day, in my opinion. Getting in just like a 35-minute workout, doing a 5K is like perfect. That's like excellent. 10Ks are great, but I can't do a 10K every day because, again, I don't allow myself enough time to heal. And eventually, my muscles, my legs, my feet start irrevocably being painful to a point where I have to take now a week off of running. And I'd rather just run 5Ks every day than have to take a week off from running and not get any running in. So I'm planning these workouts strategically so that, I can hit my goals. Sunday, I'm stretching myself to 20 miles, but that must mean that I rest tomorrow and Saturday. No running, no working out, nothing. Just spending time, relax, walking the dog, and that's it. Because if I say, oh, you know what, tomorrow I'll go for another 5K or whatever, or another 10K, I'm sure my body won't have enough downtime to repair. But Sunday, I'm going to come in it flat. I'm going to be not able to hit my marks. And I want to hit it because we got Sunday 20 miles. Next week after, so this will be the 12th, the Sunday, I'm supposed to hit like closer to 23 miles, but I'm almost thinking of backing down and going back to 16. Why? Because then that week after, the week before the marathon, I'm not going to run at all. I'm going to run maybe a 5K stretch, what do I call it? A shakeout day. I'm going to run maybe a 5K on the Tuesday, and then no running Wednesday, no running Thursday, no running Friday. Still debating on doing the marathon on Saturday or Sunday. We'll see. It's going to be the timing of things in my life and what I have going on. So it might be Saturday, it might be Sunday. But yeah, if I'm going to hit 26 miles, I can't be running at all for the previous at least 3 days. At least 3 days. And that means the Sunday before, I can't be running more than 16 miles. That's what it's going to be. 16 or 17, that's it. I'm going to have a lot of buildup. That's when I'm really going to focus on my nutrition. I won't be able to get back into ketosis, but I'm going to be piling on my weight. I'm probably going to gain a couple pounds that week of fat to pad my energy reserves. And I'm going into it smart this time, so we won't have a crash, network or physical crash. And yeah, it should be good. I have a good plan. I'm just sticking to it. So it's good to set challenges for the mind. The body will follow, but sometimes the body wants to do things. The mind, you have to train your mind to say, no, we're not going to be doing that. We can't run today. We're going to take the day off. Yeah. The other thing is, I've noticed about riding a motorcycle is, man, it is such a great stress release. And it's different than I thought most people were saying. Most of them were saying how, all right, let's get this. Oh, I can't. What's going on with this thing? Dang it. Can't pick it up. That's weird. What was I going off on? The muscles of the body need healing. Your brain needs to control the body. Yeah, riding a motorcycle has taught me that it's not about escaping. I've heard people say, oh, I gotta escape my problems and ride my motorcycle, on a long trip or whatever. It's much different. In my line of work, I find it kind of numbing sometimes. Not that I'm bored, but it gets kind of really complicated, so much that you have to numb yourself to get through problems. Rinse and repeat. I was talking about, you create code, you break down code, you do it again in a sharper, smoother, simpler way. Yeah, same thing with the mind. Sometimes you might think about something and say, oh, this is the answer, I just need to do this, and all my problems will go away. It's usually formed out of a lot of conflict to get to that point, that you would much rather be better off in thinking, you know what, I'm going to sleep on it, so to speak. Take a day off, rest it up, come back, and rethink the problem, and then boom, you'll probably figure it out, and maybe it'll be simpler than you imagined. Same thing goes with any outlet of your life, but riding a motorcycle is not really about escaping your problems. In my mind, riding a motorcycle engages you in not just traffic, having to see and think and hear everything around you, but it's really about engaging you in the moment. You bring yourself, it's almost like a meditation. You bring yourself into the moment and you begin to think a little clearer, a little sharper. So yesterday, yeah, it was a really grinding day at work. And I had to switch gears a couple of times, lose focus. And that for me is really hard. And it makes me feel pretty worn out. And I could have spent the extra 35 minutes or 40 minutes at work still working on this problem I was figuring out. But I was like, you know what? It's already after 5. And I said to myself, I wanted to go on a motorcycle ride because I haven't been on in over a week. I went, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to practice, get more familiar with my bike, more familiar with the turns and everything and the friction zone. I said, I have to go out there. So I was like, you know what? I will. Let's do it. So I wasn't escaping my problems. I was creating space for me to get back into the moment, because I was overthinking at work, hyper thoughts, switching context. I needed to just focus on one thing, the motorcycle, the principles of riding a motorcycle. And so it was great. I was out on the motorcycle for 35, 40 minutes, just around the neighborhood, doing 12 miles in my big neighborhood, getting used to the friction zone, stopping at the stops, switching gears, downshifting, looking, listening, hearing, everything. And it was great because when I came back, 100%. Took a cold shower, 100%. My wife came home. I was like, this is amazing. I love life. Mental health. You gotta watch out for that mental health. Don't burn the candle wick at both ends. You have to create space. You have to sometimes turn off the wick. John Wick, you gotta turn off the candle for a second and relight it tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a better day. Tomorrow's gonna be a new day, not better. Don't look for the better days, but instead look for the days that are challenging so that you can create a deficit to then fill it with positive, recharged, reinvigoration. I'll say that. That's how I think the brain works best. You don't stay in cloud 9 all the time. You don't try and stay in those happy thoughts all the time. Because if you do, the moment something bad happens, it's gonna knock you off your rings, like Sonic. It's gonna knock all your rings off your body, and you're going to be unhappy. You're gonna be in a worse shape than maybe you started out with. A friend of mine put it in perspective, it's like you're up on a ladder, and you're on these, hey, here's a ladder right here. You're on these rings of the ladder, or rungs, and the higher you climb, the farther it is to fall. And if you fall from great heights because you've been living there so long, you might be, again, close to hitting rock bottom because it's hard for you to regain your grip. So what I like to think of it is you climb up the ladder, you climb down the ladder. You don't slide down, you don't fall down, but you climb down. Climbing down represents the deficit, the negative space, and climbing up represents the positive space, the rebuilding. So you're breaking down, rebuilding. Your muscles, your mind, everything. Your health, like I said, having a beer a night isn't going to jeopardize me. It's not going to cost me my run. It's not going to cost me my health. It's there necessary for me to have, wow, you know what? It was great having that beer. Now I'm going to have a healthy, delicious meal and top it off with some water, and I'm going to be feeling awesome by the end of that. Oh my gosh, can I get one more kill to get this bloodthirsty? Can I do it? I'm in their spawn. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Oh, he's right behind me. Oh no! Gosh, very clever. Good job, bro. Good job, yeah. This sniper is fun. I'm not playing it like a sniper should. I really should be just hanging back up here instead of rushing their spawn and being a little bit more cautious. Let's try and be a little bit more cautious here. So we got a sniper. He wants to snipe, I want to snipe. Let's snipe together. Let's trade off kills. Or if we can get 5 on him, that'd be better. Yeah, here he is. Woo! He's good. He's Piper. He's the Pied Piper. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's try the same thing. Expect a different result. He's just looking for me now. Woo! This guy. We're gonna call him Bob because his name is before Bob. He is a Pied Piper for sure. Alright, they got a CUAV up there, which is costing us... Oh my gosh, I can't go in there again, can I? I can't go in there again. He's gonna see me. Oh my gosh, he's so quick. He's quick. He's got that hawker probably. I'm gonna save the hawker for the last because it's so tasty. The Striders are pretty good. The VS Recon was okay. I think VS Recon will pick up next because it wasn't as tight, wasn't as tasty. And there's 4 snipers, but why can't I remember them? There's 4 snipers and I'm only thinking of 3. Respawn flipping. Respawn ripping. It's domination, so they should be over here. But we're probably not killing them quick enough, right? Alright, let's hang back. They still have C. gotta get these kills, man. We gotta start moving on to other snipes. But like I said, we need longer maps. This is a good one. That sniper is so tight. That sniper is so tight, man. There's no way we're getting through him. Huh. Bob. Good job, Bob. Reminds me of what you call the Terminator in Terminator 2. Uncle Bob. He's like a robot. Robot sniper. Danger. He's got that AI snipe shot. Alright, Bob's over there. I'm not even going to stick my head out, because Bob is just waiting for me. So in turn, I'm going to wait for these guys. Oh shoot, here comes a guy. Here comes a guy. He's coming. Come on. Darn it. Oh no, Bob's not there. Okay. They're coming by. Here they're coming by. Oh, the guy's right there. Right above me. Right there. Oh my gosh, I got one tag on him. Not enough to bag him. Ay. Hit me with the rocket launcher. Nice, dude. Nice. Way to go. Did someone get him? Maybe. Oh, that was good. He's like, I'm not playing your game, sniper. I'm just gonna launch you into space. Woo! Yeah, these guys are tight. These guys are tight. Domination's great for, man, a lot of things. You can get a lot of kills racked up if you're running with those LMGs. Snipes are great if you hide out in their spawn, but man, they're not coming. Is that guy alive, or is he just AFK? I mean, I'm hoping he's okay. Hoping he's not AFK. Come on, sniper. Oh, Bob. Oh, I tagged him. Come on, Bob. Oh, there he is. There he is. No, behind me. Woo! Clever girl. Got clever girled. This is a great map. I've always liked this map when they came out. I thought it was very tight. And I thought it was another map when I first heard about it. I'm like, wait. What is this map? This Fringe? Like, was that from Vanguard? Was that from Cold War? I'm like, no, it's not. It's a new map, and it's crunchy. It's a crunchy new map. Oh, that guy got toasted. He got toasty. Alright, let's get this sniper. Oh gosh, that guy saw me. Alright, let's try the Snipe City up here. Let's try and see if Snipe City's getting got up here. There we go, one tag. Oh my Bob, dude, that Bob is amazing. He is just the Pied Piper. Sweet. Bob. Woo! He's gonna get me. Get out of here. Oh, and the guy gets me from down there. Nice. Ice is nice. I wish I had more ice in my life. I wish. I can't get him. Dude, that guy's tight. I'm just accepting my fate. I will not be able to grab that guy. That guy is just too tight. Let's keep going, ninjas. Let's keep going. Let's sidewind him. Let's side spike him. Side swiping. And got a hallucination happening. There we go. We got one. Let's hang back, yo. We got the long range. We don't need to go in there close quarters. We can keep it tight. We can keep it right. Ooh, they know we're here. Okay. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. How are we doing on our miles? We're basically, man, we still got some mileage to do. I thought we would be at our, we were walking earlier, man. Yeah. I don't know, the ankle just wasn't feeling it today. And actually, I might set this goal to 5 miles, guys. To be honest with you, I gotta get back to the grind. And, yeah, it's definitely fine to call it when I feel like I'm ready. or I feel my limit. Because like I said, we're going to be doing 20 miles on Sunday. We can't be pushing ourselves. We need some rest. If my ankle's feeling kind of janky right now, I need to give it some rest. I need to. Ooh, Bob Builder. Bob. Dude, he's a GG. He's a good guy. Woo! Point blank though. Hey, last place just where we belong. Good job, ninjas. Yeah, that Bob got us like 17 times. I'm pretty sure of that. Woo! Is this him? Yep. Look at this guy. Oh, he's got that apocalypse camo. Is that what it is from Warzone? It's a tight camo. Where's me popping my head out? Yep. That's me. Getting got. Yeah. The Hawker, I called it. I know it's crazy. You know how you've been playing this game so long as you start memorizing the silhouettes of the guns. I'm like, yep, that's the Hawker. I don't even have to like see the replay. I know he's running with that because of the silhouette. Because yeah, it's the tastiest sniper, the Hawker. But yeah, guys, we're done. We're backing out here. We got point something miles left, and we're done. Man, the Strider's fun. It's a fun grind, but boy, oh boy, we're just struggling to get 2 more Bloodthirsties. We'll hit it. I'm certain we'll hit it. We're gonna be taking a break though on Sunday, going back to zombies, Infinite Warfare. We're gonna see if we can get through Attack of the Radioactive thing. I'm feeling like we're gonna get lucky with the 3 maps before it. You know, we're hopefully not gonna have that much RNG in Shaolin Shuffle, because boy, sometimes it feels like I'm running up that map back and forth and back and forth. So I think we're gonna have success. But yeah, we're definitely gonna take the rest of the weekend off, come back strong Sunday. I hope you guys have a fantastic 250th year Independence Day, celebrating the birth of America, the greatest country in the world. We see that from people that come into our world, into our culture, into our safe space here in America that they didn't have in their home countries. We saw that with the World Cup that has happened, where people come to America and experience American way of life, and everyone loves it. Many people say, you know, it's not as bad as the media in their countries make it out to be. So appreciate the country you live in, or live in the country you appreciate. As always, it's a privilege and an honor for me, Kevin, here, the Ninja, victorious in our 5 miles. We're gonna come back Sunday strong. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to keep care of your mental health as well as your physical health. It'll pay off in silver dollars. That's it. Thank you here for being part of the Moto Dojo. Let's go get Thursday, everyone. We'll see you Sunday for our super run.